Good communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity. Good day to all. Today we are going to discuss about the barriers of communication. Barriers are any obstacles or hindrances or difficulties that comes in the way of communication. They may be physical, mechanical, psychological, cultural, or even linguistic in nature. There are different types of communication barriers: physical barriers, language barriers, psychological barriers, physiological barriers, cultural barriers, mechanical or technical barriers, socio-religious barriers, or organizational structure barriers. Now, let's examine each barrier in detail. First one is physical barrier. Physical barrier is the environmental and natural condition that act as a barrier in communication in sending message from sender to receiver. Organizational environment or interior workspace design problems, technological problems, and noise are the parts of physical barriers. Geographic distance between the sender and the receiver, closed doors and cabins, background noise, rainy climate, environmental stress, etc. are considered as examples for physical barriers. The semantic barrier in communication can be defined as the misunderstanding and interpretation of meaning which restrict effective communication. It can be in form of language, sign and symbol. The word semantic is credited to the Greek word semantikos, which indicates significant. Word interpretations, gestures, language translations, signs and symbols, five senses and poor grammar are considered as the language and semantic related communication issues. Next is psychological barriers. They are due to the emotional character and mental limitations of human beings. These barriers result in absent-mindedness, the fear of expressing one's ideas to others, excitement and emotional instability, all accounting for an overwhelming number of communication problems. Personal emotions, rather termed as emotional barriers, biases, perceptual variation of sender and receiver, mental faculties of each communicators, attitudes of the persons who are involved in the communication process, rather it is termed as attitudinal barriers, and psychological problems or mental status related to the communicators are cause some problems to the communication process. Next is physiological barriers. It is related to the physical state of the communicators. Physiological barriers are caused by the individual's own personal discomfort such as sensory dysfunctions and diseases, vision impairment, hearing impairment, speech disorders, or other any health issues are considered as physiological barriers. Cultural barriers. Every country has numerous religions practiced by its people. There are numerous rules, norms. So the difference in their values and beliefs are also an example of cultural barriers. Different cultures have different meanings of words, behaviors, and gestures. Culture also gives rise to prejudices, ethnocentrism, manners, and opinions. It forms the way people think and behave. When people belonging to different cultures communicate, these factors can become barriers. Mechanical or technical barriers. These are the barriers arises due to mechanical failure and disturbances, technological malfunctions, improper timings of communication, etc. Next is socio-religious barriers. This is also considered as one of the important barrier in the field of communication because every society and every religion have their own beliefs, attitudes, and norms. One main communication barrier stemming from religion is individuals' lack of knowledge or information about their religions and belief system. So these beliefs or discrepancy between beliefs can impact how people communicate with one another. Organizational structure barriers are the communication problems which arise in the field of an organization. Organizational barrier hinder effective communication between the members of the organization. So, these barriers pertain to hierarchical factors, problems with the structures or system in place in an organization. A lack of chain command, bureaucratic delay, political manipulation, class conflicts, attitudinal issues of the managerial and subordinate level of employees are considered as the organizational barriers. So, this is a brief discussion on the barriers of communication. To get an effective communication, we need to correct these barriers. We all should actively engage in reflecting on our own communication skills. The above list of communication barriers is a great place to start. Reflection, empathy, and practice will help you hone your skills. However, no one is perfect, so it is also important to recognize and acknowledge when you make a mistake, which is the first step in keeping the doors to effective communication open. Thank you.